Good evening and welcome to Resonance 104.4 FM. I'm Steve Curran and this is One Life Left.
Hello, I'm Simon Byron.
And I'm Anne Canterbury.
I realised as we sat down that, and I look at, I cast admiring gaze at our guest. I realise I've not actually spoken to him about what's going to be happening this evening. So I've not said.
Did you not give him the initiation?
We'll chat about this, and then we'll introduce you. And from that point, yeah, you can't say anything yet because we've not introduced you.
Why don't you give our guest and also our listeners a rundown of how this show usually works?
Well, welcome to One Life Left. Particularly welcome readers of Shortlist.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. This week we were recommended. We were one of 7 podcasts recommended to...
What were the others, Simon?
I forget. Was the Daft Souls, was that there? I don't think so. Was
so.
Radio 5 Live there? I don't think it was either, was it?
I think...
Guy Cocker was nowhere to be seen. He was mentioned in Shortlist, but not in that section.
But it was something called Serial. Serial.
Is it pronounced cereal? I thought it was cereal.
Okay.
No, I think it's just a podcast about breakfast.
So,
nice,
so does that mean we also if people think that we're like Serial, we should bring them up to date with what's been happening on One Life Left, shouldn't we? On the plot so far.
We've got one joke, guys.
Exactly.
See if you can spot it.
Yes. Have you had a good week, Steve?
Pretty good so far.
What's been going on?
I went for a run today.
Right? Why?
Oh no.
because I haven't been for a run for ages, and I've been putting it off.
I would have kept it that way.
Yeah. I tried. Well, I saw. Actually, it was inspired by you tweeting about marathons this week. Yeah. I thought, well, if Simon's doing it...
Yep.
You're doing a marathon?
No, I didn't. I tweeted about a relay. I was running the Great Eon Ticket UK relay at the weekend.
Yeah, same thing. I skipped it. It was too long, didn't read.
Exactly, yes.
Anyway, I went for a run. That was hard work. Otherwise, had basically quite a nice day.
Good, Anne?
I've had a lovely week. It was my mum's birthday on Friday.
Oh, happy birthday, Mrs. Scance.
Yeah, so I genuinely did give her, as one of her birthday gifts, a copy of Shortlist magazine.
Did you? Yeah. Nice.
There you go, Mum.
How much did you pay for that?
Got it for free.
Good job. So our guest, we realised when we got here this evening that the previous show, Lewis Schaffer, he's been upping the ante recently. He had Terry Alderton from Off of EastEnders on last week. I mean, like someone who's actually famous.
How do you top that?
Well, he topped it this week with Stewart Lee.
It's ridiculous.
Who I know, as we passed each other on the studio, didn't remember me from saying hello to him when he sat on his own in a pub in Hitchin.
But this is
or maybe he was playing it cool.
What we're kind of doing is like a rap battle with guests, isn't it?
Yeah.
They do one thing.
We had another. They do.
Is that how rap battles work?
Something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we had Trendy Entertainment on last week, but they had Terry Alderton.
Yeah. So we can make of that.
They have Stewart Lee on.
That dude, yeah.
Stewart Lee,
yeah,
whoever
pretty
he is.
good.
Hey, we've got Paul Rose, Mr Biffo.
Paul Rose.
Hello, Paul Rose. You can speak now.
Can I start swearing and banging on the desk like I was told not to?
How are you, Paul Rose?
Yeah, I'm very well. I'm actually having a hot flush, I think, coming out of the cold, or I'm having the menopause.
Right. Well, do you know, it's so wonderful to see you. We've not seen you for a long, long time. In fact, Steve referenced it earlier. I forgot Paul Rose's leaving do, which was 100 years ago.
But he really left, didn't he?
He did leave. He left. We'd not seen him or anything like that. And then here he is. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're very welcome. Nice to be had.
Looking forward to catching up with you properly shortly. But we should start the show as we always do, and in a way that we didn't imagine we were going to be doing 10 minutes ago, Anne, because you weren't here, and we were like, right, what are we going to do for this bit?
Here, guys. I was always
we thought you were testing us.
Well, you asked us for a day off, didn't you?
We weren't really listening. So we just thought, it'll happen, and she'll remind us, and she'll warn us, and it'll be fine. Then you didn't turn up, and we thought, it's going to be embarrassing with Paul Rose here. Anyway, let's get on with it. It's Anne's news.
One life left.
It's 7:05 on Monday the 1st of December. I'm Anne Scantlebury and this is the news. The British Film Institute has announced that 14 games have benefited from the UK's video game tax relief. The BFI, which bestows certificates on developers, named 11 of the games. The only game to have received final certification was Space Pants by Boxface Games, with the 10 other named games in interim certification. Up to 25% tax relief on production costs can be claimed by games that have things like UK staff working on the team and games that feature a British story or the English language.
Don't get much more British than Space Pants, do you?
So he's got tax breaks.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, he was then 12.
He's his father's
He's grown up
son,
now.
isn't he?
Yeah.
Little businessman, doing well. Wow.
Got tax breaks but fell victim to child labour laws. Exactly.
Congratulations,
Well done,
Sam.
Space
Yeah.
Pants, that's all right.
So that's the only one. So what? So
The others are all in interim
he doesn't have to pay tax, and he's a child, isn't he? It's like taxing paper boys. Is that right?
Yeah, because you don't start paying any like national insurance or anything until you're 16, is it? And then tax when I think maybe is tax a little bit older when you're 18.
I don't know.
Or
So
maybe
what
it's when
else
you're
was on the
16.
list? Space Pants, obviously British.
Yeah, and obviously brilliant.
So of the other 10, so you've got Beyond Flesh and Blood from Pixel Bomb Games, Fractured Space from Edgecase Games, Ginger Snap from Elderberry Post.
Does it explain why
Adjective
these
noun.
games are...
Adjective noun from.
No, it doesn't explain why they're Mazecraft from Hyper.
Oh yeah, you don't get
Lion.
much more British than mazes.
Potion Pop from Delinquent Interactive.
Okay, Delinquency, very British.
Shred It.
I've never heard
Shreddies.
of any of these. They must be tax scams. Is Starbucks making them?
Wayward Tide from
What is that?
Chucklefish Games.
Who are they?
The Chuckle Brothers have set up a game studio just to get tax breaks.
who's
Fractured Space is definitely a thing. Definitely heard of Fractured Space.
I haven't. Paul Rose, have you heard of any of these games?
No.
No.
Chucklefish games, though. I'm willing to take a punt on whatever they do.
I guess so. If you see their form, you're gonna.
If you're from Chucklefish Games, consider this an open invitation to come on the show.
Yeah, and talk about your tax affairs.
Can't remember what the third Chuckle Brother was.
Welcome,
There's a
listeners.
third Chuckle Brother?
Welcome, readers of Shortlist.
The boss of Xbox in Japan has resigned after bad sales of the console in the country. The Xbox One has sold only 38,461 in Japan, with around 23,500 of those being sold in the first 4 days. The Xbox 360 sold twice that in its first 2 days of release. This is also massively down on rival console sales, with the Wii U and PS4 both selling over 300,000 in 2 days. Speaking in October, they said, "It's not as though we're satisfied with the current sales state. We hope to continue to do our best."
I think we need a news jingle that's like 5 seconds longer.
Yeah.
Parko,
Or
that's on
Or a
you.
newsreader that's 5 seconds quicker.
Turns up on time.
Exactly. Right, so he's paid the price then.
Yeah. This.
I noticed, Steve, you were after an Xbox PR contact on Twitter today. Did you get any joy?
Well, we didn't. You know, I was trying to pick up on a thread from earlier in the season where we failed to get an Xbox.
Yeah.
And we still have failed to get an Xbox. So, no, I didn't get any. I basically asked for a communicative Xbox PR, i.e. not one from Edelman.
Right.
And
did you get one?
no, didn't receive any answer at all. So
See.
maybe that's your problem.
I know, and that's part of his reason, I guess, that he resigned, is it? That One Life Left didn't have a console yet?
Yeah, I
Is that-
think so.
pretty atrocious, isn't it?
Well, I can't decide whether it would be better or worse for us to get in touch with Japanese PRs of Xboxes.
Well, it can't be any worse.
What?
We're not-
Because they must have a surplus over there. Just ship them over to
yeah,
us.
good
We'll take
thinking.
them. Or maybe they're just really terrible and they don't have any in stock.
Paul, are you Xbox or Sony?
Oh, well, I've got both.
Are you Xbox or Sony?
That's hard. I really, really didn't like the PS3. I had one, but I really didn't like it. So I punted for the Xbox One initially, but I tend to play on the PS4.
Are you enjoying it?
Yes, I'm enjoying Far Cry 4 at the moment very much.
That's good. Well, hopefully we'll hear about that later. No, the actual lyric is Xbox or Atari, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, which
He's more,
that's apples to orange.
he's more
orange-
Xbox and I'm more Atari.
Right, yeah.
YouTubers will have to flag promotional videos in future, or else. The Advertising Standards Agency told the BBC in very hard terms that brands and vloggers now have to make it very clear before you click on a video that it's a promotional video. This time it was complaints about loads of videos about Oreos appearing that caused a stir, but this is an issue that's previously been raised about video game YouTube channels. The ASA hasn't really made it clear what the or else is yet, but we bet it won't involve the world's finest cookie.
We will definitely review Oreos.
Yes.
For money, yeah.
Well, for Oreos.
Here's a
is
quick life tip for you. If you're unsure as to whether a video is a promotional one on a YouTube channel, just check to see whether it's on the YouTube channel, because chances are it is. This is a can of worms
Wasn't it?
that has been opened.
It was Yogscast that said it's not an advertising thing because they don't have editorial control. We don't hand it back to them, so it's not really an ad.
It's not really. Total Biscuit says he's not a journalist, so you know. Why should I have to do that?
I've got a wider point to make about all of this.
Do you want to do that now?
Yeah. It's to do with One Life Left as well.
Okay.
You know, we're sociable people, right? One Life Left.
Yep.
We're not shut-ins. We get out and about. We meet lots and lots of people in the industry. We have dialogues with them. We talk to people from the press, don't we?
We do, yeah.
But we've never interacted with the Yogscast at all. In all of our long history and their short history, we haven't talked to them. We haven't even said hi. We haven't passed each other in the street.
Is this you showing them an olive branch?
This is me reaching out to the Yogscast.
Because it's, by all accounts, it sounds like they do need our help, given the followers and the money that they've got.
Yeah, I've heard they're doing okay.
Okay.
But maybe it's time to take... Maybe we can help them reach a different audience, the audience of Shortlist.
I mean, they're perfect for late night shoot 'em up action, whatever that is. Whatever that is.
I don't want to cast aspersions on anybody on the YouTube, but maybe the reason that we aren't friends with them is maybe we don't have anything to offer them, Steve.
What, i.e. money? That's certainly true.
Maybe.
Yeah. No. So it is going to be interesting what happens with this, because a lot of them do take money for content, but whilst I saw a lot of people crowing about how this would change things, all I think it will do is just, you know, if they're going to be more upfront about it, they will just say, yeah, but we only take money from things we like anyway, and that will just do the same job.
Yeah, but if you like it, you shouldn't want to take money from it.
Well, how else are they supposed to live?
Get a job. I don't know. Kickstarter has shut down the campaign for a game called Bloodsport because the premise sounds like it could kill you. Developer Brandon Grotesque hoped to make a game that could be used by at professional blood drives to get gamers thinking about more important issues while still doing what they love. Players would have a needle in their arm that would drain their blood when they took a hit in the game. The developers were adamant that the game would be overseen by medical professionals, but the top reward was the code to build your own Bloodsport machine, so literally anyone could have used it.
Brandon Grotesque?
Yeah.
That's a font.
Right.
I just googled it to check. Look, Simon, it's a font. Look.
Is it nice?
It's all right, isn't it? It's a good font as well. Anyway, sorry, Anne. I got distracted by the story, by the font.
Do you need me to give you a recap?
TLDR.
Game that was going to have a needle in your actual arm.
What, your arm?
Or your arm.
Okay.
Not my arm, though.
Not yours.
All of my veins have collapsed.
And when you play the game, when you get hit or something, it would drain some blood out of your arm.
What?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
I mean, you can. Because
no, you can't, because Kickstarter have said that you can't.
Yeah.
You actually can't do that.
Well, you can't do it now.
No, but then it turns out you couldn't have done it.
But you could.
Even if you wanted to. If you did want to, and they did want to, it turns out you can't do it.
Yeah, but Kickstarter aren't in charge of physics.
But it says that...
Kickstarter aren't your real dad.
But it seems that they are, because he's not doing it anymore.
Yeah, but...
Maybe they're going to continue without this.
And how do you know he's not my dad?
Maybe they'll go on Indiegogo.
Yeah, were you tempted to pledge for that, Anne?
No. That's
Ever feel you got too much blood?
I mean, if I want to give it, I could, like, it's very lovely. So obviously this was not obviously, this was in Canada.
Obviously,
I don't know what their blood giving situation is over there, that they need to be playing games while they do it. Over here in the UK, what we have is a lovely system where you turn up, you sit for quite a long time, then you go and have a little lie down. Watch your blood coming out of your arm, or just look at the ceiling if it's weird, and then you go and have an orange squash and some 3-pack of biscuits.
Biscuits.
Oreos.
Total biscuit. It's all coming together.
Oh my goodness. And finally, Nintendo could be making some pretty big enemies with its new toy. The Samus Amiibo figurine, which was released this week in the UK, has been shown to mess with the ticket barriers of the Moscow Metro, opening and shutting the gates when it's not supposed to. This sounds like that film where the toys come to life, only this time they're taking over our transportation infrastructures. There's no way this is going to end well.
That film where the toys come to life.
You know that one. You know the one I'm talking about.
Is it,
a narrative, a story of some description?
Yeah. What happens in it is the toys come to life.
Okay.
so it's called Life Toys.
Life toys. That one.
Right, so what? So people were travelling for free by waving an amiibo.
It could open and shut the gates, but apparently the gates on the Moscow Metro are quite dangerous anyway, because it looks like they're open.
Russia.
Because it looks like they're open. And then if you go through it and you haven't put your card on it, it just shuts really, really abruptly and can really hurt you.
Right.
Okay.
It's like trust, but if you break the trust, you get hurt.
So, has anyone tried waving any
they tried
Skylander toys on the London Underground
Oysters,
one?
Well, they did try this, but it didn't seem to work on.
How does someone discover all of this? They just, I've got an object. It's like an adventure game, isn't it?
Exactly,
Just use X with Y until you get through.
It was Ron Gilbert, wasn't it?
You know when you try to get into your house and you don't use your keys, you use your Oyster card instead, and you're like, oh, what an idiot. Maybe someone was fiddling around in their bag trying to find their.
Is this why you were late?
I was trying to get on the. I was trying to get on the tube by using some tampons. Didn't work. Whatever's in your pocket.
Is that last story?
That's it.
One Life Left video game news with Anne Scantleberry.
Two things.
What?
First thing, I still can't get over the fact that Anne tried to use her Oyster card to get into her house.
You've never done that.
But they're two different objects.
I
Are
know
you
it's just-
homeless?
Do you live in a hotel? That would make sense.
Sometimes. No, you know when you just get the wrong thing out, you're not really thinking. Just get the wrong thing out of your
but normally
pocket.
they're made of the same substance. Like, wouldn't you be? Oh, like.
Listeners, I cannot be the only person that's ever done this. Please back me up.
Okay.
Second thing, we've worked out who Chucklefish are. It's a bit
We
embarrassing.
say worked out. We should mention, of course, we're once again joined by Simon the Intern. Hello, Simon.
Hello.
And it turns out, actually, that his job is just to sort of prove us wrong.
Yeah, he's fact checking.
Fact checking.
Fact checking.
Yeah.
He's legal.
If you could check the facts before we talk
Say
about them on
them,
air,
yeah.
just hold it. We need a hand signal for that. So Chucklefish are a big deal. They made Starbound.
Oh, yeah, that.
Total Biscuit would love Starbound. I bet he loved it.
Right. For how much, though?
Probably for nothing.
That's
Some Oreos.
exactly what I mean.
Yeah,
Exactly what I mean.
exactly. And now they're a publisher as well. Apparently, they publish Risk of Rain. And
Oh,
things like
right.
that.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Made in Game Maker, I think.
Right. Really? Okay. Interesting. Anyway,
You're welcome.
That was that was Clam and Walkers.
It's nice. You expressed some concern about the music this evening ahead of the show, and
I expressed the only concern was that we might not have enough.
Well,
every single track is a banger.
I don't think we're going to need it though, are we? Because because Paul Rose is here, remember?
Of course.
Paul, so when did you leave?
Oh God, 7-8 years ago, something like that.
So you should explain exactly who you are.
God, where do we begin? I used to write Digitiser on Channel 4 Teletext.
Yep.
And then I had an Edge column, and then I vanished and developed a career writing very unpopular films starring dancing dogs.
Digitiser, I mean, it's possible that there'll be some listeners who won't know what teletext was. It was like the internet before the internet, wasn't it? It was using the extra signal that TVs didn't display, wasn't it, to randomly...
Yeah, it was kind of the between the lines or something. They kind of hid...
Put text in.
Yeah,
that you
it
could
was
tune into.
sub-8-bit.
And you could see what the football scores were on a Saturday or book cheap holidays.
Yeah, but it's still going as a holiday company now. That's now what they do. They still exist, Teletext, as just purely a holiday company.
And Digitiser, I think, back in the days, people used to pick their champions, and it could be quite parochial. If you like this, you dislike that. That still exists in hardware and stuff. But I think it's pretty fair to say that Digitiser was universally loved.
Except by Amiga owners.
Oh, okay.
Or kind of Sega fans or Nintendo fans,
right?
depending on who was slagged off that day.
Okay, all right. Well, it's nice to know that was still around. So, yeah, what do you think it was about Digitiser, though, that sort of attracted such a firm following?
God, I don't know, really. It's not for me to say, because we were just trying to entertain ourselves. And whatever we did just seemed to gel with people. And it was a weird mix of kind of the fact stuff with stupid characters and jokes that didn't make sense, which we were doing purely to annoy people. But it slightly backfired, and enough people liked it that it got a bit of a following.
Who did you annoy the most?
Our bosses.
Did you?
One of whom, weirdly, said hello to me on Twitter today.
Right.
My old editor, which I kind of ran away screaming into the garden, going, he's still watching me.
But it had tremendous reach and influence, wasn't it? I mean, it was probably more popular than most games magazines put together. Is that right in terms of numbers?
I think so. We used to get figures that said we had at 1.5 million viewers a week, but I was quite isolated from it. Half of the time I spent writing Digitiser, I was doing it from home, and I had no contact. It was only actually that leaving to that you guys kind of came to that was when I kind of went, bloody hell, people actually like this. It's weird.
And it must have taken quite a skill as well, because Teletext, you were very limited by the number of characters that you could use. So how did you approach covering games in such a sort of staccato fashion, I guess?
By covering them as little as possible and kind of filling the pages with stupid characters.
Right.
So, yeah.
What made you leave?
Now there's a story. My mate who worked there, he was the guy that did the tips and cheats pages, he rang me up and said that they're about to fire you, and I thought, right, I'm going to do smashy and nicey here and quit before they fire me, and I rang up the features editor and said, actually I'm thinking of quitting, and he went, oh God, we're actually about to offer you a raise.
No.
And that's a true story. That's what happened. So, but it happened at the right time. The TV writing stuff was starting to take off, and yeah, it had its day. Okay, sort of.
Tell us about what you went on to do then.
Well, I've written all sorts of things, really, mainly for kids. 4 O'Clock Club, that's my big one that I really love for CBBC. I've done EastEnders. One episode, which was fairly horrific. And yeah, most recently, Pudsey the Dog, the movie. It was my fault.
Tell us a bit. So how do you end up writing just one episode of EastEnders then?
By upsetting your script editor sufficiently that you're not invited back.
Which one was it?
Wow, it was a long time ago. It was just after Dirty Den had come back from the dead.
Okay. So a tricky one too.
Yeah, I thought it was an alright episode in the end.
That's a classic era of EastEnders, though.
Well, I don't know. My era was when Dirty Den was alive for the first time, and then he died, and it kind of got all a bit weird and pantomimey.
Yeah.
And we just had to sort of do lots of Dirty Den catchphrases and stuff, and that's what his dialogue mostly consisted of. Was,
And when did you pop up on? So maybe it was 3 or 4 weeks ago. You just suddenly appeared on Twitter. I mean, you had an account for ages, but it had been dormant for years. Is that right?
Yeah, since 2009.
Okay, so you were in early.
Yeah.
Trendsetter.
Did nothing.
Thought that's not for me.
Pretty much.
What prompted your return?
I don't know how much I can say, really, because I wrote something purely for my own entertainment, and I really enjoyed it. And I've not written anything Digitiser-esque for 7-8 years, and I loved it so much. I thought I kind of want to do more of this. And then I just thought, oh, to hell with it, and popped up on Twitter and started tweeting stupid jokes, and stuck the thing I wrote up online, and people seem to respond to it.
So, two things. Your jokes. Now, they do make me laugh because they're so bad.
I sense a caveat here, Simon.
I look at them with admiration and go, right, is that what he's been doing since 2009? Right? He just set up and he's just been writing them down because you're so prolific with them. And they're so terrible that they're brilliant. But do you write them as they come, or have you got a big book of jokes?
No,
right?
I write them. It's been weird because since I've kind of popped back up 3 weeks ago, it's been like a kind of champagne cork taken out. I can't stop. My other half had a go at me last night because I've been just doing too much on the blog. I've been loving it. I've been so loving the chance to do it.
So you have a blog now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's digitiser2000.com.
Right.
So, myself and Tim Moore, who I started Digitiser with back in the day, we get together and get drunk a few times a year, and every time we do, we go, we should do a book about Digitiser.
I was going to come on to that. I mean, given the sort of the success of all the retro. So you look at the Commodore 64 book, the Amiga book, Keith Stewart's Sega Mega Drive book, raising tens of thousands of money. Are you tempted to do a sort of a teletext in book form, or even just anecdotes about that time?
We've got a vague idea to do something that's a cross between what Digitiser was and a sort of Beano annual. But part of doing the blog is just testing the water, really, to see if people remember us. We've had a good response. I mean, I don't know if it's enough yet to kind of get perhaps a Kickstarter campaign or something going. But if people want to go and look at the blog and like it, please let us know, and sign up to following me on Twitter, and maybe we can get something away.
How have things changed in the time that you've been away, would you say?
I really have been living in a cave. I ran so far and fast away from being Mr Biffo that I just turned my back on the games industry. But the big change seems to be the change in the way games are covered, which is now it's social media seem to be there. That's the voice that people seem to be responding to.
Social media and radio.
And radio. Duh.
And in terms of the games that did you stop playing games?
No. My taste in games narrowed very much down to first-person shooters, and that's it.
Okay.
So I'm having to catch up a bit.
It's amazing what they can do these days, isn't it?
Isn't it? I know, they almost look real.
And in terms of the faces, I mean, what's been really nice is obviously on Twitter, Pete, you can see when people that you hadn't connected start talking to each other. And what I've really enjoyed seeing is that other people that I know just say, hey, well, it's great to see you back. I mean, you still think the games industry is full of the same types of people, same personalities around?
I'm surprised how many people are still around that I remember from back in the day. That's really surprised me. It's been nice, lots of people who perhaps weren't kind of established in the industry when I was last in it, seem to be now quite...
Have you seen what's happened to Rupert Lohman?
I don't even know. I don't know who that is. Who's that?
You know that young boy with all the spots? He's now running Europe Gamer. He's... No, I was joking. He's a friend of the show, Rupert. But yeah, okay, great. Well, thanks ever so much for coming on. Do keep us posted on the book and stuff. I'll be first in line to back it if you do that. But you're going to stick around for the rest of the show. But what we're doing now, Steve?
Hello, I'm Sega Brawi, and welcome to One Life Left, Local News. Chaos has ensued at a local shopping mall due to the sales on offer. The Williamette Parkview Mall, that is open to zombies, has had shoppers fighting over the large discounts available. Local photojournalist Frank West was able to take pictures of the event and sent them to our sister newspaper. Local zombie residents were disgusted by the shoppers' actions. Many said that the police presence was non-existent, and the cops that were there seemed to want to protect the shoppers rather than the local zombies. They were also upset that the queues were moving slower than they could actually walk. In addition, the only items that they could buy were black pudding, PS4s, and cans of Guinness, which they felt was not the true meaning of the term Black Friday. Thanks, and back to your usual programming.
This is One Life Left on Resonance 104.4 FM. We are a video game radio show broadcasting from the heart of London. Is that right? Is this place the heart of London? I think it's heart enough.
Feels
it's zone
like
one,
it.
isn't it?
So, yeah.
It's zone one, so it's the heart of London. So we've dealt with the news. We've dealt with our interview section. Any other business?
Well, we should bring people up to date on the Christmas party, which we announced this time last week.
One week ago.
This time 1 week ago, we announced it. Tickets sold out on Friday.
Yeah, so
4 days. 4 days and a bit.
Well, yes.
5 days.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
96 hours.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for coming along. We're really sorry to those of you that have been unable to get tickets.
I know, I feel bad. A couple of One Life Left super fans and Marioki super fans were tweeting at us going, I've only just checked the internet. Just thought I'd roll up, buy a ticket. There's no way those chumps are going to sell out. Well,
Well,
we did.
we are sellouts.
We are total. We've always aspired to that, and now we are.
We found a way, though, for people who don't currently have tickets to get tickets.
So we've held back some tickets for One Life Left contributors, because it's our work Christmas party.
Exactly, staff party.
So how do you get one of those tickets? You have to be a member of staff. Of course. Now, how can we make that happen? Well, we can employ you.
Okay. Right. I mean, you said that in a cheerful manner, but it came across as sinister the way that you pointed at me, and I mean, check your terms and check your contracts before you sign up to anything. But
it's all right. Anne's HR. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. If you basically, we're using this as a way to get you to do our jobs. So if you don't have a ticket and you do want to come, please write us a song to sing on the night.
Write us a Christmas song. So that can be a Christmas carol or a Christmas pop song. We already have a few, so you want to email us first to check that the one that you're going to write is not already done. All it has to do is similar rules as normal Marioki. It's one of those songs about video games.
Paul Rose is staff, I think, and while we've been sat here, so you're going to come to our Christmas party, aren't you?
I've
Our
been
staff,
invited,
our
yes.
staff Christmas party.
I think maybe before Paul is staff again, he has to go and see HR about his sabbatical.
Where have you been? Well, I thought maybe somebody could write a Britney Spears song for Paul, couldn't they?
Oh, I get it.
Yes.
I just got it. Steve, you'll get there.
Digitiser.
Yes.
Very good.
Exactly.
Very good.
Good.
You could write that. Could be a suggestion for you. I'm going to take Venus. Is the one I'm going to do for this time.
What?
Really?
What is that?
By
It's going to be
Bananarama.
Yeah, but
It's the one that's the advert on the women's.
Yeah, and I'm going to write
hygiene.
it about the Witcher games. Do you get that? No, Steve, got it?
I get it.
That's what I'm going to do. That came to me over the weekend.
I don't get it.
What do we know about the Witcher games?
Sexy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to do Venus.
Oh.
It's going to be fun, isn't it?
No one will sing that.
Yeah, they will.
Price itself, Simon. It's just
doesn't it?
Just
Doesn't
a search and replace.
Exactly. Right, letters. Richard Stratton writes, Dear team and Mr Biffo, the ultimate super special guest. In the past few weeks, Anne's news prowess and general gaming knowledge appears to have leapt forward at a near exponential level. What could possibly account for this? Have s10e and Simon been feeding her mind expanding drugs akin to the Lawnmower Man that has increased her understanding to genius levels? What other explanation could there be? Loving the show, Richard. Anne, what's been going on?
Just really enjoying my job.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for a raise.
Good, yeah, no, yeah. Well, people are noticing. That's good news,
Isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it? I've been doing well. Well at reading letters out as well. Hello, team and super special guest. Paul is one of the best when it comes to kids' TV with Danny's House, The 4 O'Clock Club, and My Parents' Aliens. Not only providing so loads of chuckles, but also storylines that reflect aspects of everyday reality for kids, even as in the case of with Parents Are Aliens, in the most unlikely of circumstances. He has also created scenes that have profoundly tugged at the heartstrings. So, with that in mind, I wanted to ask the team: are there any games that have reflected your real life experience in a profound or particularly clever way, despite its unlikely setting or storyline? And/or are there any games you've played that you would describe as being both chuckle maker and heartstring plucker? Keep up the great work, Paul and OLL team. You're brilliant at what you do. Kate.
How do you feel about that, Paul?
Is that real?
It is real. Shall I tell you? That's from my wife. Okay, and you. So she made me introduce her to Kieran Gillen, which made me look good. And then when she saw me talking to you over Twitter, she's like, I didn't realise you knew Paul Rose. He's a hero of mine. And apparently, we've got your book in our house now that she owned.
Yeah, that's not suitable for children.
Big fan. So.
Do you want the question again?
No, well, I'm terrible at answering listeners' questions because the answer's no. I can't think of anything. Can you, Steve?
Chuckle makers.
Well, anything that's profoundly
What do we know about chuckle makers? We've already talked about
Chucklefish.
You should talk to them.
And
Yeah, I'll get on them.
okay.
Heartstring Pluckers has to be Road Not Taken, which is the most emotive video game I've played for years. A genuinely punishing experience.
Wait, looking forward to coming into Vita.
I got a bit emotional playing Rain.
Oh, I've not played that yet.
Yeah, I think it's more of the ambience that it created, sort of the scene that it set. But yeah, bits of that I was just like, oh god. That was a heartstring plucker.
Mine would be Heavy Rain. So, sorry, I know it's a crap answer, but that affected me in ways. Yeah.
Dearest presenters and SSG and intern. Video games are very popular these days, begins Jamie Firth.
Oh,
Also really popular are celebrities.
interesting. Yeah.
Where's this letter going? There used to be a lot less or fewer, depending on who is reading out the letter.
Fewer.
Yeah.
Which celebrity would you like to play a video game with, and what video game? Which video game would it be? Jay.
Oh, I'd like to play a video game with Taylor Swift. But it could not be SingStar.
No, it really
Because
couldn't.
why would she bother? Play a super
would you
scary
play?
one so that she'd have to cuddle up close.
She would do good expressions, wouldn't she?
Yeah, she would.
Animated GIFs.
Actually, I would
Be
love
very
to play...
Tumblrable.
What's that one that really, really scared me, Steve? Outlast.
Outlast.
Like
Or
to
Outlast
play-
2. Because it's
Outlast
coming
2.
out, you should get, invite
Outlast
her
2 and
around.
invite Taylor round.
It's a good idea, isn't it?
Who would you like to play a game?
I'll never meet your heroes.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be a hero, it just has to be a celebrity. So it could be someone you despise.
Oh,
And you want to
play that,
trounce
play
them.
that blood giving
yeah, I was going
game.
to say the blood giving game with Ainsley Harriott.
Celebrity license right there, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Paul, do you have a letter?
Yes. Hi team, hi SSG. I've just finished a grueling project performing a 4-hour play about Robert Anton Wilson. Finding it over and having a little free time, I find myself reaching for Burnout Paradise. It's not the best game, but it's something I can pick up, play like an idiot for half an hour without having to remember where I'd got to, feel warm and fuzzy and put back down. What are your coming home games? Pip pip, Robert.
That is
home game.
No, that is a strong question. I have an answer for this one.
Okay.
Or at least I had an answer for this
No.
one. Not Project Eden, Pixel Junk Eden. Pixel Junk's brilliant sort of abstract ambient platformer with music by Bion. Absolutely fantastic game. I love that game so much. I never completed it, but I would play it for half an hour all the time. And on PS3, I'd come home and I would not be sure what I wanted to play, and I'd maybe go to put in a disc, but then I'd be like, no, I'll just play Pixel Junk. I played that game so much, more than any other game last generation, and all in tiny chunks, just because it was comfortable and just a pleasant experience. Now I can't play it because I've unplugged my PS3 and it exists on PC, I've seen, but no PS4 version. So please Pixel Junk, give me back my baby.
Or Dave Perry, hurry up with your gack eyes or whatever it is.
Yeah,
so you'll be able to play
that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I can't think.
I don't think I have one.
Coming home.
No.
I mean, it's a good point, though, isn't it? That it's often easier to learn. It's easier to go back to an old game than learn new things. So, good point, Robert. I'm sorry that our answers couldn't live up to that.
Yeah, no, I often tend to find that if I stop playing something, then I can't go back to it.
Never go back, they say. Don't they?
Procedural generation is all well and good, but as an actor I'm increasingly frustrated by the fact that these games tend not to include a story, and therefore there's no way for me to get some juicy acting roles out of their popularity. The most vexing part is that I invented a game with procedurally generated plot back in the 1980s while I was on a break from Nintendo. The graphics were basic, i.e. non-existent, but the player would genuinely experience a story that was put together by a complex algorithm. That algorithm? It was simple. I'd write, or procedurally generate, a basic plot, and if the player tried to deviate from it at all, I would refuse to engage, blaming the lack of computational power rather than my own lack of imagination. Want to pick up an object I haven't thought to add to the plot? I don't know how to pick up ladder. Want to try to exit through a door I've accidentally described without knowing what's on the other side? I don't know how to open south door. In the end, you just follow the plot I had planned all along, sometimes not even bothering to try the other options, because I don't know how to do that. There you have it, the illusion of choice that disguises an incredibly confined structure. We used it to make roughly 200 games, and the trick was used again many years later for LA Noire. And anyone claiming that it was a misleading use of the phrase procedurally generated, I'll see you in court. Writing is a procedure, suckers.
Super Roger World, good to have him back.
Thanks, Super Roger.
Thanks. So I put out a tweet asking if anyone else had tried to get into their house using an Oyster card. Amy Jones said, I think everyone who lives in London has done it at least once.
How do you do it, though?
Darren Wall happens once a month. I once tapped in on our front gate and became incensed when nothing happened. Johnny says...
She lives in a mansion.
Work office key in the house door, house keys in the office door, sometimes...
But that you can understand, they're made of the same thing.
All right, but a lot of other people... In a flustered moment, I once tried to swipe to unlock my Oyster card. Doesn't work. Keith Stewart just called me a London idiot.
Well, exactly. I was about to say, who follows you on Twitter?
Right,
presumably people who can't operate, like, if they can't get in, how are they replying?
This is my favourite one. Rich said, the smoke alarm woke me up once and I was so hungover / still drunk, I rolled over and pressed snooze on my alarm clock. We've all been there, Rich.
I mean, what does that have to do with the question?
You do the
exactly.
wrong thing. There is
Ask them if they've ever answered the wrong question.
There is an action that you need to take, and you do something automatically. That's another thing.
If there are so many actions in life, so many different. What else? What else do you do at your door? What else? How else have you tried to undo your door?
You try and turn the water on. Do you?
Try and turn the tap on, but I just start taking off my tights.
Right. Right. Good.
Yeah. What? This is not that uncommon, Simon. I'm not a problem.
Well, just because your idiot followers do something similar, that doesn't prove the rule, does it?
Yeah,
it makes no sense. I don't believe
feel
this.
comforted.
I mean, so seriously, when you go to unlock it, do you tap the thing, or do you try and put the corner in the key?
No, you just sort of go, hold it there, and you go, no, that's not right.
So how do you actually get into your
with
flat
a key?
Or house? Okay, what's your PIN number? Again.
4.
Right.
This is Ocean Palace. It's the Elders of Arcturus. It's from chipmusic.org, as all of our music has been today so far. I love doing that. That's excellent. So
that doesn't work though because don't we level the audio?
Well, no, but you level the audio like as a whole, so any fluctuations in between wouldn't.
Yeah, no, they would all come out as the same sound.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, they do.
Anne does audio. That's kind of what she does.
She's got burst eardrum.
So how did
She also tried to get into our house with an Oyster card. I don't know why we're taking any professional advice from her.
And when are you off?
Do you want me to actually tell you, or should it be a surprise?
No, tell us, because
It's the 15th.
So the week after next.
Yeah.
So you're here next week. Okay.
Here next week.
Right,
Well, let's see how it goes next week then.
Yeah.
One more shot at this. So we've covered the news, we've talked to Paul, we've played some music, we've talked about the Christmas party. Simon, is there anything that we have missed? Intern Simon. Oh, he keeps notes. We should do that, yeah.
Better than you do.
Yes, a small notebook. I think, well, this week was a bit news week because it was just sales and Thanksgiving.
And ignored Black Friday quite rightly. Well done,
Yeah.
Anne.
Me too, I just stayed home and did nothing.
Okay.
Didn't go out.
Right.
Anything? So we've covered everything then.
What could be good is there's going to be free DLC for AC Unity.
Okay, free DLC for it.
Well, that was
Is
weird.
that to make up for the?
Yes, that's to make up for the.
They're saying sorry with DLC.
What? So they refunded the season pass. Now they're giving DLC away. What if they could have sold that DLC as part of the season pass?
Feels to me like they're apologising too much.
Does, doesn't it?
Like we don't know something
Exactly,
they've done.
yeah,
We're gonna, What are they hiding?
Do you think that free DLC is going to be a new currency in apologies? Like, I'm sorry, honey, I went away for the weekend and something happened and I didn't mean it. I was thinking of you the whole time.
Here's a hat.
Here's a nice pair of glasses for your character. Please don't ever bring this up again. Maybe that would work.
Maybe. Interesting. Okay, is that it?
And Sony might give people in the US $50 back if they bought the PS Vita really early. Because
I want $50.
Yeah, but
Have you got a PS Vita?
No, but I
Well, that's going to be.
But I can
I
mock
bought one
up.
early.
Yeah.
yeah, but I think that's just for the US because
Just for us.
no, for the USA.
Okay.
Because apparently they, as they did false ads, now they have to refund people because some things weren't implemented in the PS Vita, and then
One of those
Were the
things.
false ads the ones where they had the boobs on the front and on the back, and then when you got the console, it turned out there weren't any boobs at all?
It's always disappointing when that happens.
Right. Thanks, Simon.
Reviews. Simon, what have you been playing this week?
I've got so much to play at the moment, but I've not had a chance to sit down at home and play Grand Theft Auto, finish Alien Isolation. Instead, I've been playing on the tube and trains, and this week I bought XCOM Enemy Within on the iPad.
Have you not played that before?
Oh, I bought that the other day, but I haven't started playing it yet.
Right, well, let me tell you about it. It's like XCOM Enemy Unknown,
Yeah.
but sort of more orangey. The icon is. The game is basically the same.
I do like it.
That's no bad thing, though.
It's a good game.
Yes, it's turn-based sci-fi tactical shooter. You coordinate a team of crack alien-hunting soldiers.
Which you get to rename, which is the most important part of the game.
It's got permadeath in it, so
Which is also important.
every choice is important. Yeah, and it just works really well. I think the iPad touch devices actually are really coming into their own. The Banner Saga's now out on iOS as well, and all the games that previously you'd have to sit and move a mouse and click and all that, you just touch and move. And yeah, that's good. It's good.
What have you called your team?
I can't say on the radio. Yes, so but no, it's good. It is basically more of the same, which is ironic given that I didn't finish Enemy Within, but Enemy Within seemed to have a few technical problems. It would sort of dump you out now and again, and I've not suffered the same with this. So absolutely delighted to be back in that world. It's a bit pricey for an iOS game, Alex.
isn't it?
It's like $8.99, something like that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't buy that. I would never go that far.
So what did you buy then? You buy some
I must
rip-off?
have bought the
The Banner Saga
No,
dropped
the
in
previous
price on Friday.
one.
Oh, Enemy Unknown.
Yeah, I must have bought that one then.
Okay.
Well, it's basically the same.
It's
If you wear it,
but
if you
blue.
look through different colour glasses.
Yeah.
I will do that.
Thoroughly recommended. If you haven't played Enemy Unknown, buy it. If you have played Enemy...
I have bought it.
Yeah, 7 out of 10.
Steve.
I have not been playing anything this week apart from Spelunky, and I don't
thought
think
you
we can
finished
review that
Spelunky.
again. But that's the brilliant thing about it, isn't it? You go back again and again and again. I had a very traumatic daily run yesterday where I got all the way to the end and then got squished at the last possible moment. But yeah, it's a
It's that thing you
fabulous
tweeted
game.
about, and you were like, "Oh, if you want to see something really sad, watch my Spelunky."
Yeah, the heartbreaking 28-minute movie. Yeah, still absolutely lovely. Loved the game and still 7 out of 10.
Brilliant. I've been playing Fingal. Right.
By Game Oven.
Yeah. So this is a game where it's a 2-player, and there are little squares on the screen, empty squares, and then there are some filled squares, and you have to move the filled squares with your fingers into the empty squares until the screen fills with a different colour, and then you move on to the next level. But then sometimes the squares start moving or interacting, and sometimes it looks a bit sexy. I can tell that they've set this up, Steve. Don't look at me like that. I can tell that they've set it up to look like that, because in between each of the levels they do stuff like they have a thing that comes up and goes, "Oh yes, 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 oh good rubbing," etc.
Is that sexy?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
I was playing with my 5-year-old son at the time. I didn't find it sexy at all, and I
okay.
resent. That's,
I mean, that's definitely what they're doing.
right.
Fingers.
Well, we found it very difficult.
You know,
It is very difficult.
You know,
though.
Leo Tan and I invented this game at
Yeah.
Nottingham Game City
Right.
before it came out. We invented it. A week later,
What did you call it?
it was called Fishy Fingers.
Of course it
Because Phil Fish was around.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's why. That was before we pushed him over.
was. Yeah.
Anyway, that's my first point, Anne.
Yeah.
Second point is, Game Oven would certainly bill this as a flirting game.
Not a sexy game?
Who are you playing with this with?
Right, well, this is interesting.
This
There
is a
are 3
two-player
of us
game. 3 of us.
taking it in turns.
There's 3 of us.
I'm not doing that
I don't
again.
think it was us, though.
I'm not doing that again.
No.
No, last time.
So it was me, Matt, and...
Oh, this Matt character
Yeah.
again.
Coming back. Trying to write him into
Readers
the
of
script.
Shortlist will be interested to know who this Matt character is. He appeared last week, didn't he?
Yeah.
And now you're playing Fingal with him.
Don't worry, I didn't go any further than
Okay.
that. But also, One Life Left's engineer, James Scott, was playing with us as
interesting.
well.
I'm going to
Really?
Spain with James Scott next year.
Brilliant.
Yes. I know, look at what's going on around you, Steve.
Anyway, back to my review. So, we were playing it on the iPad mini, which I think is a little small for this game. Our fingers kept bumping into each other. And it not really working. And also, at one point I shouted, "Oh, for goodness sake, I'm going to have to go upstairs and cut my fingernails," which I've never had to do for a video game before. So
What,
well done,
shout that?
Fingal. Well, I've never had to cut my fingernails for a video game before.
Have you cut them?
Yeah, look,
Wow,
they're
nice.
quite a lot shorter, aren't they?
That's it, yeah. No, you are right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will note that down in my chart about Anne's fingernails.
Keep an eye on them next week. But yeah, it was a lovely, fun time. Would play again, maybe. 7 out of 10.
Paul.
Far Cry 4.
I really want to play this.
There's no time for anything else.
Right.
It kind of just dominates life. It's like a sort of, I don't know, Prince of Wales award scheme, outward bound holiday in game form. Which, if anyone's played Far Cry 3, it's more of the same, but better. Yeah, I was slightly disappointed. I have to say, I was slightly disappointed by how similar it was to the previous one, but it does it all kind of better than the previous one.
And it's on a new format now, of course, so doesn't it look spectacular?
It does. I have a slight issue with the current generation that I don't think things have kind of advanced quite as much as I wanted them to be. And I don't know, that's probably my issue more than the actual hardware. But yeah, I don't know, I'd give it 85%. I'm not doing marks out of 10, I'm old school.
This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. This is also unprecedented.
Yeah.
We've had people before, Paul Rose, that have come on here that have tried to subvert the joke that we explained to the shortlist.
One joke.
Readers.
One joke, Paul.
We've got one joke.
We have one joke. You take that away from us, what have we got? We've got no jokes, do we?
Just see if you can see a pattern. Anne, what did you give again?
I gave mine 7 out of 10. Simon.
7 out of 10.
I didn't re-review it, but the first time I reviewed Spelunky, it got a solid 7.
All
Don't
good
feel under
scores.
any pressure.
I mean, I think that Far Cry might be too similar to its predecessor to warrant such as. I mean, I think
did
you might
raise that.
You might need to consider deducting a few points, and by a few, I mean 15.
It's a good point.
72%.
Thanks, guys. This is a 8-bit remix cover version of Out of the Woods by Taylor Swift.
Why would you talk over this? I don't understand.
Because it's...
Just let this play out, Steve. That's the rest of the show.
Bye, everyone.
If you come to Karaoke, you will hear a version of this sung by...
It's amazing.
Anne and I usually...
I'm still not entirely sure what game it's about.
It's just about general. It's about adventuring in video
that's
games.
good.
It's a broad strokes. Karaoke is for everyone. You don't have to understand every little bit about every other game. Indeed, you can enjoy it if you know nothing about games.
Hello.
Had any thoughts on celebrities you'd like to play games with?
No, I was just thinking,
given that Anne wants to play games with
no, I was just thinking that given that we've attracted a lot of the serial listeners, we need.
Course.
I mean, I've not.
Serial.
So I've not listened to a full episode of Serial. I got a bit bored of it, and then I found out it was all true.
And then you got back into it.
No, I didn't. No,
you're only into the real murders, aren't you, Simon?
Well, exactly. But does it end on a cliffhanger? Is that what we need to do here to get them back next week?
Okay. Well, am
We've
I
got
going to
about
be
a
on
minute
time?
to think of one.
No.
Paul Rowe, it's been great having you back. Welcome back. Please do stick around,
I'll
not
do my
just
best.
in the studio, although that would be welcome. But it's good to see you writing about games again.
It's nice to be doing it, yeah, and thanks for having us on.
Anytime. I mean that. If we've got someone lined up, we'll clear them out.
Brilliant.
So we can follow you on Twitter at Mr Biffo.
That's it, at Mr Biffo.
And the blog is
Digitiser2000.com.
Good stuff. And we're going to see you at the Christmas party singing Womanizer by Britney Spears.
Definitely.
The Chuckle Brothers. That's who I want to play games with.
Okay.
It'd be perfect, wouldn't it?
To me.
To you. So that's it, isn't it, for another week?
I've been trying to think of a cliffhanger.
Oh, of course. I already forgot.
Well, you've been playing Fingal.
There's no...
Anne,
yeah.
why don't you tell us who Matt really is? He's a code name for someone.
He is, Steve, and he's a code name for...
You're tuned to Resonance 104.4 FM.